Ladies and gentlemen, I do read a lot on YouTube or see a lot of videos on YouTube and TikTok, and they say, they say that only when you fail or only when you fail and make mistakes is when you're actually going to learn something, right? Like, if your life has always been good and you've been coasting through life and you have no trauma, no issues at all, ever, I mean, obviously, at some point you want to get over your failings, but if you have no failings or no issues ever in your life, you're not going to really know what it's like to be successful because you pretty much coasted through life and you never really experienced anything traumatic or anything difficult. Now, it's not to say you have to experience something traumatic necessarily, but to experience failing, it really is something that people have to do in order to succeed, right? Like, let's just say someone that's really poor growing up, as opposed to someone that's really rich, right? The rich and their child, right, growing up, and they're both children growing up. If a child is rich growing up, they may have to go through an experience where they don't know what it's like to be rich, right? Or they may have to, you know, go through something traumatic because they've always grown up being rich, so they don't know any differently. So they might think everything that if they just use their parents' money and never learn how to do their own thing, they may be very hard to. Their life would be very difficult to manage when they have to overcome an obstacle. Now, somebody that grows up poor, which a lot of celebrities do end up growing up poor and have nothing in the beginning. So if you grew up poor, that's something that you automatically can really think, oh, hey, this is really tough. I don't know what it's like to deal with having no money. And you grew up poor and you really know what it's like to overcome adversity, right? And there's other things too, I really think it's important that we, as people, recognize that sometimes failing is not a bad thing. And it's really not something that's super scary. And there have been people that have failed tremendously, but if they become successful, which they don't always become successful, but let's say someone that deals with homelessness, right? Like if they're homeless and they become successful, you know how much they appreciate the money they get? They really, really do, right? And people that are rich, that have always been rich, might not appreciate the money or whatever. Anyway, totally, Joe. Bye now. Bye, everyone.